It's 6 o'clock on the dot. I got my spirit team cruising the streets. Oh yeah, my spirit team gonna bring a message to you. Yes, indeed. I don't know what happened. I don't know what that was about, but don't judge me, please. Mmm. Interesting. It was an Usher song. Good morning, collective. Good morning. How are we doing today? I hope all is well. I love you so much. I think that you're doing a fantastic job. I think you're doing the best you can. I think you are choosing joy. I hope you are choosing joy in all situations or learning how. My name is Patience. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. Good morning. It is 6 o'clock on the dot in my drop top. No, I'm just kidding. It's 6 o'clock a.m. here in the islands of Rhodes, and everything is so blessed. I'm so grateful to be here. I'm so grateful for all of my blessings, and everything works out for us. And we hope that you are doing well. So, we have a reading today. Forgive me, I started doing my little meditation, my protection, all the things I do before a reading to connect. And this energy is, it's so heady. It's so heady. It's like here. It's like the whoever this person's energy, their crown chakra was like exploding out of their head. And I can feel that. So, Holy Divine Spirit, please help me to separate them from my energy so that I can observe that feeling instead of feel it from my body. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. All you gotta do is ask, you guys. All you gotta do is ask. Thank you. That feels much better. Yeah, this energy is very heady. It's very trancy. It's very foggy. It's very uh, muddy. Yeah, so we'll see. So there's a couple things that came to me. So if you don't know who Basquiat is, I'm not super familiar with all the deets about Basquiat, but he does come up so often when it comes to certain celebrities, and I was like, what in the world is going on? One main celebrity being Jay-Z. And if you look at a picture of them, they look very similar in their like hair, the way Jay-Z does his hair now, stuff like that. So definitely inspired by this person. This person is an American artist of the past who is associated with Andy Warhol, which could potentially be to awaken ancient evil spirits. Transitioned into a new timeline. Yes. Yes, we are. We are transitioning into new timelines. Oh, let me turn the volume up on this. I don't think you guys can hear. Let me see. There we go. He is linked to dark events. Okay. So, he's also associated with Madonna. And he was born December 22nd, 1960 in Brooklyn, and he passed or crossed over August 12th, 1988. So he's pretty young. He was pretty young actually when he passed. I believe he passed from an overdose. He was a heroin addict. Um, and his paintings, I'm gonna be honest, I don't personally resonate with them. And I don't want to put down anyone who's creating something. I don't condone that. And everybody's different. So I don't want to say that his art is just overall not good. And there's a lot of people who like it. But in my opinion, his artwork is devoid of light. It feels hollow. It feels, when I look at it, let me see if I can get a picture for you. When I look at his artwork, find the key. I'm trying, Spirit. When I look at his artwork, it feels empty. And I'm going to show you. And it's okay if you don't agree, but I don't personally, it doesn't resonate with me personally. So I'm just going to show you some of his artwork. And you tell me how you feel about it. If you feel differently, that's fine. You can definitely feel that way. So here's one. It feels disconnected. It feels chaotic. It feels very uh, dark, honestly, and maybe not dark, like just more like mm, hollow. It's like I don't know how to describe it. Here's the crown that we'll be talking about. I want to try to get answers about this crown because this crown is a symbol that is found throughout his artwork, and it's also found on like Jay-Z's album art, and it's the tattoo of some male celebrities in that entertainment world. It's also part of Diddy's back tattoo, which is absolutely crazy, his back tattoo. If you haven't seen it, I suggest you Google it. So there's a lot of connections that all come back to Basquiat, which is really interesting because he passed in 1988. So let me see when Jay-Z was born. When was Jay-Z born?
According to IMDb, Jay-Z was
1969.
born Sean Corey Carter on December 4th, 1969 in Brooklyn, New York City, New York.
Okay, so they're both from New York, including Diddy. And so is Chris Rock, who has a tattoo as well. They're all from New York, all born around the same time. So actually, Basquiat would have only been 9 years older than Jay Z, which isn't really a lot of years. Could have been some kind of role model or something. I don't know. Why would Jay Z be so connected to this person? I mean, look at this. I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't deny. I don't deny it. Hey, Scovy, thanks for being here. Nice to see you. Hope you're having a fantastic time on your journey. I hope all is coming to you that is meant for you and that you're attracting good things. Thank you for being here. So, I mean, look at this one. I think it's just kind of scary. It's kind of like scribble. Leeches, parasites, fleas. Maybe there's meaning behind them, but I don't know. I just I don't feel from it. I don't feel love. I don't feel love from it. A great that's a great way to describe it. I don't feel love from it. Okay, and not to say that all artwork should make you feel like a profound amount of love, but you can create whatever you want. I'm just saying I don't resonate with it. So, oh look, here's these crowns again. Just so weird. Like, what is going on? I mean, this is essentially stick figures. These are stick figures with a bunch of scribble. It just feels very disconnected, very chaotic, very all over the place, okay? So there's that. And then last night, oh well, first of all, Basquiat was born 12/22 and then he passed on 12. So that's a weird like synchronistic thing. So it's 1 2 2 2 1 2. So that's kind of like weird. I've been seeing a lot of twos lately, Put down in the comments if you've seen a lot of choose yourself. I've been seeing 222 a lot. Probably art combined with frequency. RKS. Mutual. Yes, I feel like this art is definitely depicting some kind of frequency he was on, and I don't deny that he was trying to speak through his art or convey whatever frequency was he was on through his art. I totally feel that, but at the same time, whatever frequency was on was distorted. It was very distorted. Yeah, you can, we did a reading. It seems very grainy work, almost like it hasn't cleared up, almost trying to tune in on something. Yeah, we learned through doing a reading through with, oh my gosh, I can't think of his name. He created Scientology. Ron Hubbard, Ron L. Hubbard. We did a reading with him, and speaking to what you're saying, RKS, I think that we're going down the right path about when it comes to creation, when it comes to creating something, because Mr. Hubbard was a science fiction writer, and he was connecting through something else, something like the grid, or like the cloud, or even possibly the Akashic record. He was tapping into an energy where he was receiving inspiration to write these science fiction novels. And because he himself was not in a healed enough space to receive those messages in a balanced way, he allowed those messages, or receiving those downloads, to make him feel, the unhealed part of people will grow their ego, and they'll look at receiving that type of power as, some kind of entitlement to use it, or use it against people's wills in some way. And so that's kind of interesting you said that about Basquiat, because it seems like he could have been going into trance states creating this artwork, getting almost like addicted to being in that frequency, receiving this type of inspiration or downloads. And he was translating them through his brush. It could possibly have been when he was high, or something. He was tapping into something. But I don't believe that it was something that was divine energy, because he himself was not ready to receive it in that way. Um, Almost trying to tune into something. Have you researched modular synthesizer? No, I haven't researched that. Let me do it right now. Modular synthesizer. Modular synthesizer. What the heck? A soundboard? What does a modular synth do? Creates electronic sounds. I don't know why that's relevant, but I thank you for being here and for being a part of our reading. So that's kind of what I'm getting. And then, so last night, so we did the numbers one, and also let me just say that ones and twos have been coming up a lot lately. And in the year 2022, not that that has anything to do with this, but there was a lot of like the Idaho 4 happened 11/22. Aaron Carter died 11/22. The whole Karen Reed thing happened 1/22. So there's like a lot of ones and 222s going on, okay? So that's something that I've been picking up on. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful to bring the messages forward. I really appreciate all the love and support that I have been given going on this adventure. If you want to follow any of our socials, we have them linked for you in the link tree through the description bar. We'd absolutely love for you to be part of our community. We do have a podcast on all major platforms called Spirit News, where we bring you higher perspectives of linear views. I have created that with my very own spirit team, the Guild of the Golden Triangle. So I thank them every day. I am in relationship with them every day, even right now as we speak. And they help me to develop my spiritual abilities, which we believe here that everybody has spiritual abilities. You are not human. You're first and foremost a non-physical entity having a human experience. So therefore, your innate abilities are spiritual, and those abilities are what we would categorize as psychic phenomenon or the clairs. But really, if you took our body away, that's just the way we would communicate with each other non-physically. So we're just translating it through this antenna of our body, and we're learning how to tap back into that with the help of our spirit team. So thank you so much for being with us. And Basquiat, let's do this. Okay, so last night um, I've been kind of busy, so being spiritual is not something that you're just 100% spiritual. You don't balance your humanness. Like, I came here to be human. We all came here to be human, and it isn't for us to just be our spiritual, non-physical selves in a body. It's to experience physicality. So I don't know why that's important, but for me, I'm always dancing a dance of balance between spiritual and physicality. I'm dancing a dance, and it's important to experience both in a balanced way, not to be more one than the other. That could be why my crown chakra felt so opened, and like it doesn't now, because I asked for spirit to help me to separate that from me, because that's just energy that I was feeling from this person. But um, in similar to Ronald L. Hubbard, he could have tapped into something that on accident, and wasn't in a healed place to really separate his ego from this, and he started to become so into tapping in that way that it kind of like exploded his crown chakra, which we have many spiritual leaders this happens to, we realize, as we develop our spiritual abilities and we have the gift of sight. And we develop our gift of sight, we can know through our clairsentience that people like that focus so much on their spirituality that they don't balance themselves. So there's something about balance. So last night I was, before bed, I was just scrolling through TikTok trying to see what the news was, if there's anything I could pick up on in the collective. And there was that challenge where, well, I don't know if it's a challenge, but you put song in the search bar, and then whatever song comes up is the song for you. And so I was like, all right, I'll do it, because last time I did the book and it was spot on. It was mine was my I put in book in the search bar, and it came up, the first thing that came up was spiritual warfare for women. And I was like, hey Puyan. And so good morning, thanks for being here. So I did song to see what would come up, and the song that came up was Katy Perry's Extraterrestrial. Now listen to the lyrics. I'm sure everyone knows them because it's such a popular song, but I didn't know all of them. And I was like, what the heck? So it says, you're so hypnotizing. Could you be the devil? Could you be the angel? And that goes to what we are saying about tapping into something otherworldly that you don't understand in an unhealed place. You get kind of hypnotized by doing it because it feels so connected. Um, Even if it's good or bad, you feel a connection to something else. And so there's something about that. Getting addicted, being really drawn to tap in to create something, okay? Could you be the devil? Could you be an angel? Your touch magnetizing, feels like I'm floating, leaves my body glowing. They say, be afraid, you're not like the others, futuristic lover, different DNA, they don't understand you. You're from a whole nother world, a different dimension. You open my eyes, I'm ready to go, lead me into the light. And then it says, infect me with your lovin', fill me with your poison. Want to be your victim, ready for abduction. You're an alien, foreign, it's supernatural, extraterrestrial. And that reminds me of Jay-Z's philosophy, do as thou wilt, which is from the philosophies of Aleister Crowley, who was supposedly learning occult rituals from an entity, and with that he learned how to channel through the teachings of John Dee. So there's a pattern here about channeling things you don't understand and about taking what this entity's saying at face value. Okay, because next, look at this. Okay, next, look at this. So I was looking at his artwork, getting prepared to do this reading, and a painting popped up that he did called Exu. And it looks like this. Okay, now all of his paintings are titled, but this one really stood out to me because I had never seen that word before. So I was like, well, let me look it up. So I looked it up and it says powerful spirit or deity in Afro-Brazilian religions, especially Umbanda and Candomblé. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. It says he's known as the trickster god of crossroads and the intermediary between humans and deities. Okay, so a trickster spirit. Now, we talk a lot about how you shouldn't use divination, you shouldn't use Ouija boards, you shouldn't talk to or use any kind of medium, or try to be a medium if you're not in a heart space first. And when you're painting, when you're creating, and you're finding inspiration, you can, in your unhealed state, tap in to something else. And this person may have tapped into Exu, or may have tried to um, invoke Exu through painting or something. So, but this is a trickster entity, and we're learning about spiritual warfare. Like I said, we're not an expert about it. We're learning as we go with the help of spirit. But what spirit is teaching me is that everyone is technically under some kind of spiritual warfare at some time, because that's the way it works here on earth. It's like we come down here to choose to live in physicality through duality. And in duality, you have to have up and down, wet and dry, dark and light. And in outside of this experience, it's unity. It's a unity consciousness. And it's not dualistic. It is everything, everyone and everything knows that the only true the only true consciousness is unity through through source, that there's only one source, and we're all fragments of that source having an individual experience for source's ultimate uh, uh, ability to experience things. Okay, and so we're not separated, but here on earth we come here and to experience separation. So a trickster entity here on Earth, their job is to trick you. It's to make you believe that you're speaking with something that wants to help you, or help you be this like godlike figure, or messianic type of like dynamic. And they do that to keep you away from the fact that you are not separate. You're already you're a collective consciousness. You're united. It's a unity consciousness. I hope I'm making sense. So this trickster entity could have possibly tricked Basquiat into believing that this entity could help him be the best artist in the world, or whatever it is that that this entity played on to trick Basquiat. And Basquiat could have then filtered out that information, or his ability to tap in with people in his environment, which would be Jay-Z, Diddy, Chris Rock, people who are in the same age range as him, something like that. Okay, he's also hanging out with Andy Warhol, who's a questionable person. He's doing drugs. He also contracted a sexual, I don't know, transmitted disease, um, which would, I'm not saying everyone who contracts that as STD is promiscuous, but according to what I've researched, she is very promiscuous. So we're gonna see. I don't know. Okay, I don't know, but those are like the downloads I got. And we're gonna see what's going on. Okay, so. Ooh, that took a long time. Find the key, Spirit says. I'm trying. So, exude
Our existence.
our existence. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you. So, that's why we say don't do those, don't do divination. You have to first of all, you don't need divination to talk to divine energy. They're always around, but you have to match their energy to talk to them. If you're not in heart consciousness, and you have some things you need to heal still, and you're in your ego, then you will attract energy that matches that, and they will trick you into believing that they're divine, but they're not. And I'm so sorry, but one more thing that's coming forward that Spirit wants me to talk about, is that is a example of why you shouldn't do this. There's a whole controversy right now going on about um, Aubrey Marcus, and he just recently did a podcast with his lovers, with his throuple of lovers, where they're having radical monogamy, which is a made up thing. That's not real. You're either monogamous or you're not, and there's nothing radical about it. You're either devoted to one person or you don't want to be, and that's okay. But the controversy is that he is claiming that ISIS told him to go and impregnate his two lovers, his wife and his girlfriend. Okay? And that's a trickster spirit, because I can tell you right now, taking the advice from my spirit team every day
Brenda is
and
lost.
following it, they never tell me to do anything. It's always a suggestion. It's never like impulsive or needing to be done right away. It's never, you need to do this. It's never like that. And it's always up to me to find it. It's a subtle energy. It's never told to me, because they can't do that. Your spirit team can't do that. Anyone of divine energy that is sitting in the energy of love is not going to tell you to go impregnate two women. That's not how it works. It's a subtle energy. They'll put clues in front, like little breadcrumbs of suggestions of, well, you said you wanted this, so if you want to do this, then here's a breadcrumb. Oh, I just got an email about 85% off of mediumship courses from my favorite medium. And then I look into it and then I choose to do it. It's not something that's told to me that I should have to do. It's a suggestion. It's a small little nugget of information for me to feel or discern if it feels good emotionally or if it fits what's happening in the moment. If it doesn't hurt myself, if it doesn't hurt anyone else, and if it feels like love. Those are like factors that need to be like incorporated when you're following your spirit guidance. And so what Aubrey Marcus is experiencing that his ego is not allowing him to see is a trickster entity, someone who's coming to him pretending to be Isis because he wants to justify what he's doing, to people that he supposedly cares about. And that's what the ego will do. It will trick you. It's a trickster entity or just a trick in general to make you not see or take accountability for what's really happening. Okay, so something about trickster entities. Okay, confirmation at the top of the deck. Confirmation. Thank you. Okay, so tell me what you want me to know, Basquiat. Thank you so much. If you're in a healed place and you're able to step forward with Archangel Michael, I invite you into my energy field. If you're not in a healed place, please let us talk to your spirit team so we can understand and reveal to heal what happened, what's going on. Okay, thank you so much. Mm, um, okay, let's do a song. We'll do a song card. Never been to Spain, Three Dog Night. Well, I never been to Spain, but I kind of like the music. Say the ladies are insane there and they sure know how to use it. Hmm. Three Dog Night. Never been to Spain. Hmm. Okay, Spirit, tell me if I'm wrong, but what I'm getting is there could have possibly been a night where he was introduced to something that he'd never experienced before. Something insane, something that he was introduced to people that know how to use something, that knew how to do something insane that he'd never experienced before. Um, that's interesting. And it says Three Dog Night, which is interesting because the crown that's very prevalent on all of these men, these celebrity men, is a three-pointed crown. And that's why we chose to put that crown on Basquiat's picture for the thumbnail. Okay, so that's very interesting. Um, somewhere out there, Linda Ronstadt. Somewhere out there, if oh my gosh, this is I was just singing. I just thought of this song the other day because it's from my childhood, from that cartoon of with Feifel and the mouse from American Tail, and he comes to America and he sings that song. He's like, somewhere out there, if love can see us through, we will be together somewhere out there, out where dreams come true. That's so funny. I didn't know it was sang by Linda Ronstadt. I thought it was sang by Fievel. American Tail, yeah. Jan, yes. You remember that movie? I was singing the song the other day. I used to jam out. I'd be like, then we'll be together. Like hard. Somewhere out there, if love can see us through, we will be together somewhere out there, out where dreams come true. Mm. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna say what I'm getting. He could have possibly had a Spanish girlfriend where they could have come together to do things they never did before, insane things, things to music, to learn how to do something, or they could have visited somebody or a group of people that knew how to do something, things they never thought they would do before. They may have done them together. Um, they were, they could have been madly in love or very close to each other. They could have been tempted to do something to make their dreams come true, something like that. Okay. I would cry to that song when I was little. Me too. Me too. Five lost his family, and he was singing in that, like, I think it was like a sewer or something, and he was like looking up at the moon. I remember it. I'm with ya. I was there with you. I'm there right now with you, crying. I used to love that movie. If I watched it now, I'd probably be like, oh, they should remake that movie. I don't know if our youth today would appreciate it, but I definitely love that movie. Okay, so tell me more, please. Um, let's do the junior stare cards. See if we can get some symbology. Tell me about your relationship to Jay-Z. Like, why is Jay-Z so obsessed with you? Just kidding. I don't know if he's obsessed, but I mean, I don't know. He's wearing his hair like him. He's inspired by him. I don't know. I don't know. All right, give me a card. Thank you. Bowling center. Someone forgot to tell him to let go of the bowling ball. Mm-hmm. Just as I was saying. So, yeah, this feels like the energy I was talking about when in the beginning, where he may have started to expand himself in this philosophy that he came across, something insane that he learned from somebody. He may have started to receive abundance from this, but he didn't know how to let go of it. He didn't know how to, he didn't understand how to say goodbye to it or how to disconnect from it. So that's the thing. Another open portal. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you. Open portal. He opened a portal. So he, with a girlfriend, possibly a Spanish girlfriend or a Latina girlfriend, or he went to a place he never been before with his girlfriend to somebody's house, possibly that had up to three people, or he did something with three people that was insane. That was something he didn't know how to do before to catapult him into his dream. But there's something that someone forgot to tell him. There's something disturbing that someone forgot to tell him about letting go of this energy, about how to say goodbye, about how to disconnect from it. And so, because he wasn't told this information, it may have stuck to him. It may have stuck around, and he didn't know that. He didn't know that. And so, that's the opening of the crown chakra. Is like his crown chakra is like completely exposed. It's open. It's like running full time. It's always receiving, receiving, receiving. There's no grounding going on. There's not a balance of receiving and grounding, receiving, grounding. There's no knowledge that he has to like know that this is happening on an energetic level. And that's what we're really passionate about teaching you guys about energy, because you're first and foremost a non-physical entity having a human experience. And so you're still 100% that energetic part of yourself. But if you don't understand the energy part of it, Spirit hates that we don't understand the energy part of it, then resonate with it, with its energy, just like I said. When you're talking, they probably had a seance or something, honestly. They probably had a seance or something, or something like that, and this blew his mind because he could have experienced something supernatural. But it attached itself to him because whoever was running this spiritual experience didn't understand energy either, and forgot to, casually forgot to mention, like, hey, we should close the portal. We opened this portal, we should close it. So does that mean he's easier to be manipulated? Yes. So Jan asked, so does that mean he's easier to be manipulated by negative spirits? Yes. Yes. And like I said, Exu, the painting he painted, is a trickster spirit. That is what it is. And so, what these trickster spirits do is they pretend to be something else. They pretend to be divine, they pretend to be your grandmother, your grandfather, but really it's about magnetism. It's about magnetic energy. You're magnetic. And depending on where you're at or how clear your field is, you will attract what you are already vibrating at. And so what how spirit describes it to me is like a bubble. You're naturally at your natural state without your body 144,000 hertz. Okay? I don't think they respect spirit. They think they have the power over them. Yes, exactly. And that's what makes them also susceptible. The not having respect or relationship to spirit also attracts entities that will take advantage of that, that will like feed that mindset, because that's why spirit always says you need to clear your field. It's not so much raising your vibration, because you are already 100% divine. And when you come into the vessel, you start to accumulate dirt that distorts your field, and it makes you feel like you're not worthy, or you're not loved, or whatever wounds are blocking you from being standing in your divine power. And so, because your field is so dirty with those thoughts or experiences that you haven't cleared yet, you will attract entities and energies that have that same frequency. So, by healing and learning how to go into heart consciousness or Christ consciousness, the same as Yeshua, what Yeshua is trying to teach us, you once you get to that level of consciousness, then you will only attract divine energy and divine entities that are in unity consciousness, because those energies before that were trickster entities can only attach to energies that match them. So that's how it works. Okay, so thank you so much for engaging so we can understand this part. And yeah, definitely not respecting the spirit world or your energetic part you play will 100% attract trickster entities that will take advantage of that. Okay, so someone who disrespected spirituality to begin with, taught him how to, or shared with him, or did something with him that was supernatural, but didn't understand, or just, they could have been getting high. They could have been doing it, very disrespectfully, like in a party setting or something like that. And that's not where divine spirit lives. Okay, you're not going to contact divine spirit at a house party with full of drugs and heroin and stuff. You're just not going to do that. Excuse me, I have spirit burps. Okay? So, look at him going through a brick wall. So it really sent him through a brick wall, and uncontrollable, possibly very impulsive behavior, very reckless behavior, very chaotic, very, he wasn't in control, you know. He wasn't in control. Come to the big show, yeah, because he wanted to make his dreams come true. There's something he did that night where I'm kind of getting this. I don't know if it happened exactly like this, but this is just so you guys get a like feel of how this could happen. You know, you go to a big wigs party, you know, possibly Andy Warhol, where he has a lot of attention on what he does. He gets a lot of celebrity or whatever as an artist, and he says, "Oh, well, I did it this way. If you do it this way, you could have the same thing as me." Oh my gosh, thank you, Jan. Thank you so much. Oh my god, I did not expect that. Thank you. I am so grateful to you. You didn't have to do that. Thank you. Thank you so much. I am so grateful to you. I love you. 10,000 blessings to you, tenfold. Thank you. Whew, I did not expect that. Thank you for the super chat. I'm gonna like and I'm gonna love it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. So something unexpected. Gaining wealth unexpectedly. That's what he wanted. That was his dream. It says right here, um, where dreams come true, somewhere out there. So, together. So there must have been some kind of uh well, hey, I did it. You know, how did you do it? Well, I did it like this. You want to try it? Sure. But whoever showed him how to do this forgot to tell him the rest of it. And so he wanted to lead to a big show where everybody comes and looks at his art and look how this person's standing. Doesn't that look like somebody who goes to the art show and is just looking at art? That's how I look at art when I'm at an art show. I put my hands behind my back and I really look at it. I see what it makes me feel. But there was many. There could have been one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. There could have been 10 people involved, or this could just represent wanting to be seen by a crowd, wanting to everyone to come to the big show to consider him an artist. And you know what's funny is that he got what he wanted, but after he died. So that's interesting. Okay. So you got to be careful what you're asking for and who you're asking it from, and under what pretenses are you really asking it? You know, are you asking it from the heart? Like really, when you're in heart consciousness, you don't even feel a need to ask for those things. You just want. I just saw this thing on Basquiat's thing. It said when I was researching it, it said create art, not content. Finishing my jars and candle making. You. I don't do jars or candle making. I don't do any of that. Um and I don't care if you do that. You can do whatever you want, whatever helps get you closer to divine spirit. But according to what I'm told by my spirit team. Oh my god, I'm sorry, I was texting and I guess it text the wrong box. Well, the spirit said tell me something. Yeah, I myself don't do candles and stuff. It's okay if it's the wrong box, but just to let you know, I don't do that. I don't do anything but be in gratitude and get myself into a heart space every day and um meditate and find joy. Like that's all I do. And that's all you have to do, especially in these times. You don't really have to do anything physical outside of yourself to connect. And that's what I'm being taught by my spirit team. So let's see. What else do you want us to know? We did a TikTok about it. If you want to read the titles, we talk more in depth about it. Okay. Let me switch it up. Use your time well. Make every moment count. This person, nope. So he definitely could have trying to been he was fighting or he was um, getting time taken away from him, or he's not using his time well, or he felt pressure, or something that he wasn't, or he became obsessive about. Oh, I gotcha. He may have become obsessive about whatever this was. This sort of noise. He may have become obsessive about making every moment count. That could be why he had so many. Because there's like, I was reading, there's this moment in time where he made so many paintings. Um, there could have been something about not wanting to waste or pass up whatever connection he was making with whatever it was that was attached to him. So he may have become obsessive, very isolated. He may have put himself in isolation to create because he couldn't control it. He couldn't get away from it. It was something that he, in one respect, wanted to take advantage of because it was giving him this creative quality, but at the same time, it was could have something about being out of control, possibly with substances or addictions or behavior or emotions, something like that. So it was like he was trading one for the other instead of like having freedom to let it inspire him at certain times. He felt very pressured to be, because he was in his ego, to use this now or I'll lose it. You know, it's a very lack mentality. Like, I have this ability to be inspired by some otherworldly thing. I have to take advantage of it now, and so he was taking action to create a habit, some kind of habit where he wasn't focusing on him, on his, on balance, on his emotions, on his substance abuse, things like that. Okay. Have you ever had to hide a hickey? I told you it may have led to him being very promiscuous. There was something about him not being able to control urges or habits. So could have a sex. I see sex right here under Pluto. He could have had sex addiction and drug addiction, and there's all these death spot. That could have been the translucent. He could have been very translucent about him wanting to have open relationships and experience as many things as possible. But that's also another outcome of having a trickster entity. And it happened with Aleister Crowley and it happened with John Dee. What the entity was telling them was, like, for instance, Aleister Crowley was taught sex magic by this entity that said, do as thou wilt. And the problem with do as thou wilt, in doing whatever you want, regardless of the consequence, is that you can you can infringe on people's free will by having that philosophy. And so that's not the true nature of the universe. The universe is not do as thou wilt. The nature of the universe is don't infringe on people's free will. And so he could have possibly had many love affairs, many wild nights, just uncontrollable. I'm not sure to what capacity, but definitely leading to promiscuity. Possibly it could have been ritual sex magic. I'm not sure. That could have been the insane thing. Like, what you all I have to do is have sex and I can get my dreams can come true. That's the trick. It's like that's not how it works. Like That's not how it works. And the thing is he got exactly what he wanted. He manifests what he wanted, but death spot. But he died. It happened after he died. So interesting. Tell me more. So he was very out of control. He had this entity attached to him. He didn't have control. He didn't realize that though. He thought he was having fun. He thought he was following spiritual guidance. Who's the biggest gossip? Who's the biggest gossip? It could have started going around. There's something about him getting. Thank you, Spirit. There's something about. Conclusively. Okay, thank you so much. Okay. Confirmation. So something about, and I'm not, like I said, we're just reading energy, so I don't know like it verbatim, but he asked somebody he knew, or he didn't ask, this person he knew showed him how to do something that got them what they wanted. But they forgot to tell them, like, oh, by the way, if you do this, it'll be stuck with you forever and it could potentially lead to, broken relationships and never having love and not having control of your emotions and could make you promiscuous, like all of these things that are attached to it. Um, this reminds me of when the boys in Pinocchio went to that island, but they didn't read the fine print about being turned into donkeys. Paradise Island, yeah. I just watched that recently and I was like, oh my god, this is like dark. Yeah, it's like, yeah, this person was lured into this world that he wanted to be a part of, and there could have been somebody of authority that was important to him that he found to be 1960s. Inspirational. 1960s, and he was born in 1960. That's so funny. And so this person was like, yeah, I can show you, but it's kind of crazy and it's insane, and it could have had to do with sex magic or something, or a seance, something like that. Energy manipulation. But what he forgot to tell him is that, by the way, all these things will happen. And so as he got fame, he started to get erratic behavior and emotional outbursts, and he became very addicted to heroin. And there's many things about him that were out of control, that were disruptive, that were chaotic, that were impulsive. And so he started to become the gossip around town, like what's going on with Basquiat. And that's another thing that started to affect his mind state, that started to catapult him into this energy. Who wouldn't be able to read the signs when someone is coming on to them? Yeah, there's something here about him not understanding the consequences. Thank you, Spirit. Him not understanding the consequences of the spiritual entity that was attached to him. He is looking at it as this. He has this distortion or illusion that this entity that's attached itself to him and opened his crown chakra to help him receive this inspiration is divine. Like, how could it not be divine? This is something that is making me very creative. But he's not equating all of these bad parts about it to the energy, because they don't understand energy. Okay. So he's not able to read the signs. His actual spirit team, because everyone's assigned a divine spirit team, is trying to show him signs of people that aren't good for him, of behaviors that aren't good for him, of things that he's doing that keep him in this energy. But he can't see them. He can't read the signs. He's not able to read the signs because he's too in his own way. He's receiving, he doesn't want to stop receiving inspiration. He believes that the only way that he can make such great art is because he has this weird connection to whatever this is, who tells him that they're for him, but it's a trickster entity, Exu, that's really not for him. Who would you want on your zombie apocalypse team? What do you think happens after you die? I can't make it up, you guys. So, there's something. Before I say, let me just get one more so I can make sure that that's what's going on. What's the sexiest thing someone can wear? Yes. So, so he's trying to get the advice of somebody who's in this energy, somebody who was at this party that did it with him, that could potentially be having different outcomes. Maybe they said goodbye, maybe they had a little more spiritual knowledge of how to transmute this energy. I'm not sure. Hmm. Hmm. Wait, hold on. Hold on. I just got something else. Let me just get one more. Can you please confirm that thought? That's too many. Okay. I can understand what you're saying. So he started to seek, or he started to tell somebody things that were happening to him. He could have possibly been having visions of him dying, um, or this entity was telling him, these trickster entities will do intrusive thoughts that convince you that you should take your own life, or that you should do this to this person or do that to this person, and I'll give you more inspiration. They want you to be in an energy that is opposite of divine energy, because that's the only way that they can match you frequently to affect you. So this so this person went to somebody who they thought could help them, and he started inquiring about, what do you think happens after you die? But he went to somebody who would you want on your zombie apocalypse team? He went to somebody who didn't have his best interests at heart, that didn't really, believe in what he was saying, or didn't want to help him. Some kind of competition, or someone who's looks at him as competition. Okay, someone who, Basquiat thinks is his friend, or thinks that they may have some kind of answer. What's the sexiest thing someone can wear? But could you please clarify that? I'm not really sure what you're saying about that. Describe a time you were too afraid to tell someone how you really felt. OMG. Who wouldn't be able to read the signs when someone's going on to them? Oh my gosh. There's some kind of lovers quarrel here. Some kind of lovers quarrel. Something about Basquiat not being into somebody he may have had sexual relations with. This person thank you, one. This person could have been also afraid to tell Basquiat how they really felt, because Basquiat wasn't returning or reciprocating, or reading the signs about how this person felt, and wasn't it's really because he wasn't in a place to do it. He was losing control, and he was getting really weird negative thoughts about dying. This entity could have been saying, you'll make it big if you let yourself die, or if you die you'll become famous. And because he was so distorted in his energy, he could have really thought about the potential of that. That could have been something that he thought would be like very, this is going to be weird when I say it, but very like artistic. And I'm not saying that that is artistic, but like some kind of like, what's that word? Like haunted artist, like tortured artist kind of mentality, okay? even though that's not true. That could have really appealed to him in this energy he was in, because that's what he wanted to begin with. You, and really, when you want validation, to be famous, to everyone to know you, to everyone to love you, just like a lot of celebrities, that's not love. That's a false idea of what love would be. If you have that feeling, if you feel like that's why you want to be famous, or that's why you want to be around people like this to be validated, then you may want to consider that you have a wound of rejection or abandonment, that you need things outside of yourself to validate that you're lovable, or that your art is good enough. And really, you shouldn't be making art to get love. You should be making art because you love it, because it's fun for you, because it makes you feel good. And that's the quote that I read when I was reading about Basquiat: create art, not content. Okay? Who would you never want to have as a boss? This lover could have been the person that introduced him to this entity, or this ability, or this way to connect. Um, they could have possibly had some kind of possessive um, mindset, that they controlled Basquiat, or that they should be like given special treatment because I showed you how to do this. I'm the one who made you. You wouldn't be anything without me. Something like that. This person. But really, it's because they're upset that Basquiat doesn't reciprocate like emotional connection with them, and they want to be with them or something. But has this energy attachment that doesn't allow him to have relationships, that doesn't allow him to have love. It keeps him disconnected. It keeps him thinking he needs to be isolated, and that he needs to connection is through promiscuity, and that, things like that. Just very like opposite of divine energy. Just really keeping him at this low place. Possibly giving him ideas that at work can you not stand? Who at work can you not stand? Yeah, really giving him this idea that, you're not going to be famous until you die. When you die, that's when, like, put this thought in his head. Tell us about a time you felt like a new kid, like the new kid. Yeah, whoever this person was could have potentially have been connected to this entity as well, using this person to put intrusive thoughts into Basquiat's head about, you know, I know what it takes to make it, and you're not doing it, and you only make it, you know, oh, it could possibly, like, I don't know for sure, but like I was saying about Marcus, or, what's his name? Aubrey Marcus, he said, Spirit told me to impregnate two people, to my wife and my lover. She told me to impregnate them. It's kind of like that. Like, this person who introduced him to this spiritualism, that connected him to this, and I will thank you, who connected him to this entity, is also being controlled by this entity, and is putting thoughts in his head like, well, Spirit told me that you're not going to make it until you die, and that when you die, then you'll be famous. And so, because he felt like the new kid to this, he didn't really understand this. This is like an insane world to him. He's never been to this like level of spirituality before. He believes this person. This person is somebody of authority. This person, somebody who started this whole thing for him anyway, that introduced him to this to be able to get to this level of inspiration. So he's trusting that this person is in connection with spirit as well, because he doesn't understand the connection with spirit, but what he sees is that he's, out of control, and he can't control his emotions, and he can't have relationships, so that he's not equating it to this mysterious spiritual, supernatural experience. Okay. Ooh. All right. Bad reputation. he he himself is getting a bad reputation because of a person who has a bad reputation. It's some weird um and some weird abuse or neglect or some kind of mental like manipulation of this person that he trusted. Someone he had a secret, someone he had an affair with, someone I told you they had some kind of um love affair or something, or it says sex fix. So someone who someone who wasn't a jackpot, something that he didn't win anything from getting. He expected to gain this like wealth and rich and money, like because he thought this person who taught him how to do these things was some kind of authority, but really this person has a bad reputation and he's a new kid on the block, so he may not have asked around. He just trusted this person who has stalker vibes at face value, someone who's obsessed with him because Basquiat is not returning the adoration that this person requires. This is some kind of unhealed person who has an entitlement over Basquiat, who feels like Basquiat wouldn't have these paintings if it wasn't for him doing what he did. Okay. So Basquiat's losing control and he's starting to entertain these intrusive thoughts that are being given to him by the entity and by this mentor, and he's reaching his breaking point because he's overwhelmed and he doesn't understand how to separate these thoughts. He's starting to entertain the fact that maybe he should die. If he really wants to get the love and attention he needs, maybe he has to die for that. Time again, that's the second thing about time. Or he may have been told that oh look, and it's pointing at, look at the date it's pointing at. Look at the clock, it's pointing at 12:12, 11:12:12, 12:22, and he died on 12. I'm telling you. So he may have been told that what day he was going to die, and that's a thing also about trickster entities. And that's the reason why you shouldn't go to anyone who claims to read the future. You cannot read futures and then live your life by that, because there are a million trillion alternate timelines that are all happening now at the same time. And depending on what your spirit said at the beginning, shifting timelines, and depending on where you're at in your energy matching certain timelines, it might not even happen. You might not even be on the same timeline as that prediction or that prophecy that was told to you. So if anyone claims to know the future, do not go to them and don't live your life by that. He could have been told a time where he was going to die and that freaked him out, and he was like, well, then I better, he embraced that. He like accepted that as truth, and that's not truth. And so he could have actually match that timeline by accepting that that's what he was told by this person, okay? But that's just not true. So he's reaching his breaking point because he thought he knew when he was going to die. Stress, it caused him turbulence, tension, arguments. He didn't know how he was going to die, but he just believed that he was going to because of what this person told him, because this person pretends to be some kind of spiritual expert and says, the spirit told me when you're gonna die. you know Secrets. Yeah, and it was traumatic. He didn't know how to talk to anyone about it. There's no one he could talk to, because what do you say? Like, oh, an entity that helps me paint told me that I'm going to die, and my mentor confirmed it, who taught me how to get the entity attachment. Like, people aren't into this stuff, so it's not like you could tell people anything. You couldn't even tell his girlfriend or whoever this Latino woman is. So he he just fell into that prophecy. He's like, well, let me just go all in. Let me just paint till the day I die. Let me just I don't know how I'm gonna die, but I'm gonna. He went all in. There wasn't a way for him to transcend this. He didn't know that he could. That was the secret. The secret is that he could have completely transmuted this thought form, these thoughts he was having, instead of believing them wholeheartedly. He didn't have to experience this. Meditate and dig down deep and remember who he truly is. Well, right when I read that, thinking he didn't he didn't know that the secret way to get out of this was to change his thoughts, was to not believe at face value everything that this entity and this mentor was saying to him. If he just would have changed his thoughts, he could have changed the timeline he was on. But because he believed it and it scared him, and he was in fear of it, it trapped him in it. And so he actually experienced or manifested the thought that was intruded into his mind, that he believed at face value, and he created his own death. He manifested his own death. I have a friend going through a similar situation. I always say, you don't go by what others say, do your own research. Yes, absolutely. Thoughts turn to things. And if we're going to understand this on an energetic level, no matter what somebody says is prophesized for you doesn't make it true. Maybe it's true on some kind of timeline, but this is the land of make believe. Whatever you want to believe in is what you will experience. Okay? That's what you'll experience. If someone says, "Oh, the spirit told me you're going to die on August 12th, but I don't know how." Good luck with that. I'm not gonna believe it. I'm gonna say, yeah, okay, buddy. Not on my watch, and I'm not gonna live my life by that and then let that dictate all of my fears and all of my insecurities and let them accumulate into this, trap where I actually manifest that. No, that's how it works. If you want to focus on the fact that you're going to die on August 12th because this person told you, then that's what's going to happen, because that's what all you think about. That's the only thing you think about. If the only thing you think about is how fat you are and how you can never lose weight, and you're never going to lose weight, and everything I do never works, then it will never work. If all you say is, nobody likes me, I never have any friends, I don't know why people hate me, then everyone will hate you. Like, that's how it works. But if you were to say, I'm not at the weight I want to be at right now, but I would really love some help and advice for how I could get to the place I want to be. I want to be this specific weight, and I want to be happy, and I want to be healthy. You need to change your thoughts about, you don't focus on what you're scared of, you focus on what you want. You don't focus on what you don't want, you focus on what you want. And that's the way it works here in this realm. And so we're really passionate about revealing, from a higher perspective, what these people went through to understand. So in the future, as we go into heart consciousness, we can control, the way we experience this world. And we're really passionate about that. So I understand what happened. Thank you, Basquiat. Thank you so much. In retrospect, now that we know what we know, what would you have done differently? What would you have done differently? Can you please tell me that? What would you have done differently? What would you have done? Observe. Be an observer. Study. Look. Jan, you're right. Do your research. Do your own research. Be an observer. Notice how the people around you who are giving you this advice, how are they living their life? Do your research. Talk to other people about this person that is supposedly have your back. They had a bad reputation the whole time, but because he believed them at face value, because of, not being able to observe instead of attaching himself, because he was so driven by wanting the same thing as this person, that he put himself in an illusion about this person, dishonesty, deception, trickery, and it put him in a place to be tricked by this person and this entity, because he wasn't observing the things that were going on around him. He was too attached. And so he wishes that he would have did more research. He would have studied more about what he was getting into, that he would have went outside of himself instead of relying on this person solely for the information. Thank you, Spirit. Tree. Tell the tree what you really think. Yeah, he would have been more grounded. Like I said, his crown chakra was completely blown open. He was receiving so much, you know, information that it made him completely ungrounded. And so he couldn't stop receiving because he wanted that. He wanted to receive, but at the same time, it needs to be balanced. You will receive what's meant for you in the time that it's meant. If you're constantly keeping an open channel, you're going to be like, I say, I always equate it to those things that are like floating outside. They're all crazy like this, and you're not going to be grounded. You need to be grounded above and below so you're sturdy in both places, so it's a balanced reciprocation of information and energy. Otherwise, you're going to, if you're too spiritual and you're not allowing yourself to integrate the information and really take time to heal your body, and then you become ungrounded and you become addicted and you become irrational and impulsive. Those are the consequences of this energy. Okay, so he wishes you would have become more grounded. Can I have one more, please? Accept. Be prepared to accept what fate has in store for you. He wishes that he didn't accept what this person and entity told him. He wishes that he would have asked more questions instead of just believing that that is what's going to happen to me. Well, I guess I'm going to die, so I'm just going to, accept that. And he wishes he would have accepted that that wasn't his fate, that these people are not in control of his fate, that he could have absolutely have changed that at any time, but instead, he sees now that he accepted what he feared the most, and so what he feared the most is what he manifested. Okay? Oh, Sky is danger. This isn't even supposed to be in this deck. Yeah. He manifested an accident, sudden overdose. He manifested it because of what he accepted to be the truth. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jan, for your engagement and your likes and your super chat. I really appreciate it. Thank you, everyone who showed up to this reading. I hope that it helps in any way. Thank you, Basquiat and my spirit team, for allowing us to learn the lesson in this. We're going to condense the lesson over on TikTok. If you want to see that, please feel free to follow us through the link tree in the description bar. We love you so much, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.